Hey, if you're new here, don't forget to subscribe. What up guys, this is Monkey Figure Reviews, and today we are finally going to unbox the Battle Record Collection Charlotte Katakuri figure by BANPRESTO / Bandai Spirits. So this figure is definitely one I've been anticipating quite a lot because the prototype looked really good. And from all the unboxing videos, all the photos we have seen so far from collectors all over the world, the figure does indeed look good. So I am very excited. But before we get started, as usual, we will take a quick look at the box. And right up front, you can see a photo of the figure we are going to get, an idea. And I would say that the style, the theme, the design for the box is very similar to the BRC Luffy and also the BRC Sanji. You get this picture frames at the back, and in it, of course, you get some angles or some shots of the figure, and also some thematic links, I guess, to the fight between him and Luffy in the mirror world. And here we have our series name, Battle Record Collection, as well as the character name, Charlotte Katakuri, BANPRESTO logo, Bandai Spirits logo. This is the side view, and this is the other side, and this is the back, so really zoomed in version. You know what I really like about this figure? I feel like they really captured the face really well. I'm not sure if this is the prototype, so we have to see if the actual figure is it the same, but from the prototype the face just looks amazing. And I like that, you know, he doesn't have his scarf, so it's showing his teeth, basically his whole face. And this is of course accurate to how it is during the fight between him and Luffy. And at the top, we have our white Toei sticker here to prove its authenticity. It's brand new and sealed. We are going to do the unboxing together. Let's go, boys. Let's go. We have taken out the parts of the figure, and it comes in 6 pieces. We have Katakuri's legs, his upper body, and we have his right arm coated with Haki and also using the devil fruit. We have a main base for the figure, and we have these 2 pieces that make up a supporting stand for the right arm. This is how the figure looks like when put together. First of all, let's just answer a couple of questions. Number 1, is it possible for this Katakuri to stand without the base? The answer is no, because the way this figure is designed, the pose, the center of gravity is actually very unbalanced, so you would definitely need this base in order for this Katakuri to stand upright. Secondly, is it possible to take away this ugly supporting stand? The answer is yes, and I'm gonna show you guys. There you go. So you can see that he still stands fine perfectly on its own, but you guys might have noticed Katakuri actually leaned a bit more to his right, because his right arm here is actually pretty heavy when compared to the overall weight of the figure. So, you know, my suggestion is that if you really want to care about the long-term health of the figure, it is still best if you put the supporting stand, because the arm might get loose in the long run, or you know, the whole figure might get, you know, a little bit twisted and deformed, leaning towards the right side, because it's PVC, and sometimes when not in the best conditions, they can change a little bit when it comes to their shape. So this is definitely what I recommend. But of course, if you want to take photos, or if you really choose not to display him like this, I think it is also fine. I totally understand, like, if you want to do that, because honestly, this is just really ugly, and the figure itself like this looks absolutely amazing to me. For now, let's just take a closer look at the figure. As usual, let us start off with the head sculpt. I think in terms of character likeness, it is well captured. The facial structure of Katakuri, the proportion of the features of his face, I think those are really neat. And the only downgrade that I can really notice from the prototype to this is that the teeth area, the finishing can be rather poor, so not as sharp as they could be. But I also understand that when it comes to smaller features like this, it can be a bit difficult to get in a mass production, so give them a pass for that. And for the mouth, you can actually look into the tongue. You can actually see that it's not very clear on the camera, so I think that's pretty cool. And on the side, of course, on his cheeks, the side of his face, you can actually see the scar. There you go. And the eyes, even some veins popping up on the forehead. Okay, the ears, and I think you can see over here. Actually, I want to mention that you can tell that the color on the face, the shade, is different to the neck. So from certain angles, especially from the side, it can be rather obvious, like this. But I think from the front, it actually looks fine. It actually looks okay. Yeah, but from certain angles, maybe it can be just too obvious and not continuous enough for my liking. And of course, at the top, we have his hair, purplish pink. I can't see any shading, but the details are pretty okay. Just that I have one white spot over here. The muscles on his body are absolutely insane. They look so good. The sculpt, the way they shape the muscles to show how ripped and buff Katakuri is. This is really well done. Incredible. Nothing else I can say. Man, just look at the definition, man. Like, all the chest muscles, the abs, the lats. And the way they've done it is that it's also like a bit realistic in terms of the way it is done. And it's not like, you know, perfectly shaped. So it looks more natural. It looks more random with the lines, the muscle lines. And of course, here we have his pink tattoo that is actually linked. Let me just turn the figure a bit. All the way to the arm and towards the back. And the tattoo is actually well painted on the figure. So you don't really see any weird lines coming out here and there. Here you can see more of his back muscles. Just, oh my god, the sculpt is just really well done. Some part of the spine here, shoulder muscles, neck, even his thick neck. And here we have the arm muscles, more of the tattoos. And you can see he's wearing black gloves over here. And this part, I think it's like a bracelet and bracer. This is more of a bluish tint. You can probably tell the color difference. And this is actually the same color as the other arm that is coated with Haki. There you go. But before that, of course, we have a seam line here that is pretty much unavoidable due to the way this figure is designed. But I think they tried their best to hide it around the curves of the muscles. So this is the Mochi arm coated with Haki. And you can see this part is just turning to Mochi. So he coated this with Haki and hit Luffy and attacked Luffy. And this part is generally same in color, so I don't see any shading as well. And you have all these spikes and some parts that the finishing is not as great, but I can probably pull that out. And it has a bit more of a glossy paint and some sort of texturing that is a little bit dotted, I think you guys can see. Let me just turn it to the front. This figure can be a bit difficult to get the angles on camera. So there you go, guys. Just have a look yourself. This is of course his right fist, also in the black gloves. And the Haki, usually they do it like in black in color, but this time it's more bluish. You can see the difference between the colors. And I really think that this arm, it is the main attractive points of this figure, because we really don't have any big figures of Katakuri using his devil powers. And to really have, you know, such a design, such a sculpt, it is honestly, I would believe it is a very welcoming addition to most collectors. Alright, I actually spotted some shading, like here, it's a bit darker. It's not very obvious, and maybe some parts around the muscles here and here. These are not natural lighting, so it's actually painted on here as well. It's a bit darker. And I guess also from the front, not as obvious, but maybe towards here. For his pants, he's of course wearing his biker outfit, and you can see there's a scowl over here around the belt, and also certain parts of, I guess, the metallic parts of his pants. It's also painted in a reflective, glossy silver paint. Creases are well done, and if you touch it, you can have a little bit of a leathery feel. So over here, it's pretty realistic. Here as well, the creases. Let me just turn it around so you can see his butt, for those of you interested. Okay, and this is the right thigh. More straps and more buttons on the straps. And of course, on his knees we have this spike armor thing that has a bit of pink in color. And towards the bottom we have more spike accessories, you know, and the shoes. Looks like cowboy shoes. Some parts are, you know, I'll say like this spike parts and this part, they are similar in color with the Haki coated arm. Okay, and this is the other leg. All the details are there for you to see, and I would say that generally, you know, when it comes to the detailing, the paint, it is pretty well done. Okay, it's honestly pretty well done. Is it like top-notch quality? I don't think so, but I would say for a price figure, it is already very well done, and they don't make any weird mistakes. It doesn't look sloppy, and that is good enough for me. The height of this figure from the bottom of the base to the top of the arm, that is 21 cm, so that's about 8¼ inches. If you're curious, to the head, I think that is around 14 cm, so 5½ inches. Here I have taken out the BWFC Katakuri figure so we can do a little bit of comparison, and obviously the BRC Katakuri is bigger in scale when compared to the BWFC just by looking at the head. But you know, it's something I noticed after just placing them here side by side and taking a look. I feel that now when I look at the BWFC, the proportion of his body is not as good as the Battle Record. So if you look at the legs, right, they are actually pretty similar in size, but above the legs, above the hip, then this Katakuri gets really top heavy with the muscles, and of course that connects to the head, so the size is continuous in a great proportion. But when it comes to the BWFC, the upper body is actually kind of shrinked, you know, it's kind of small, it's not as probably bigger and wider than it should be, and of course the head as a result of that is also smaller. And looking at this now, it kind of gives me a new take on the body proportion of this Katakuri. I feel that when you look at that, this BRC has done it a lot better in that area. But just something interesting I've noticed, I still love this figure because I think I like the pose, and he has his weapon, and his whole style and aura is really cool. Here I have taken out my BRC Battle Record Collection figures, all 3 of them so far, and from what I can tell, looking at the scale, Katakuri and Sanji is actually very close. But I do think that Katakuri is just a little bit smaller, and of course Luffy is bigger than both of them. To me, he is just right at the Portrait of Pirates scale, so a little bit bigger than Sanji. But you know what, I think they really tried their best to be consistent, but maybe because, you know, maybe it's different sculptors, or maybe it's just, you know, the different characters, it can still vary a little bit. But at the very least, they are trying to somewhat stay along this range of the scale. Here we have the POP Sailing Again version 2 Luffy figure, so we can have a better idea of how he compares to the POP series in terms of scale. Some of you may also be interested in this matchup between the Ichiban Kuji Snakeman and this Katakuri. Honestly, I think they scale actually pretty well with one another, and it will look really cool if you can put them side by side or even have them facing off with one another. Last but not least, I actually find that this Katakuri fits great with figures from the Creator X Creator series or similar scale. So this is the Creator X Creator Zoro, this is the Ichiban Kuji Extra Closet Mako, which is not really from Creator X Creator, but it is basically the same scale. And you can tell just by looking at this actually that they fit really well. It is in fact a great lineup because they are all like the right hand man of some important pirates and captains. Of course, this is Whitebeard Pirates, Big Mom, and we have Zoro, which is sort of the right hand man of Luffy. And I think just knowing what scale he really fits well in will give you plenty of options and ideas to really play around with the figures you already have, or what kind of collection display you want to go for. And this is honestly for me, because I collect quite a number of figures along this scale, I think that it is a great fit to probably add more spice to the display. Okay guys, that's pretty much all I have to say for this figure. In conclusion, I really like the pose. I really like the sculpt of this Katakuri figure, especially his muscle definition. And to have him using his Devil Fruit powers is something that we never had before. So this is, in my opinion, I'll recommend this to anyone, especially if you are a fan of Katakuri, because it is so unique, and I'm not sure when we are getting similar figures of him ever again. So definitely a good buy. And only complaint I have, of course, is just the ugly supporting stand, but also I can totally understand it is necessary due to the design of the figure. It's pretty much unavoidable. Alright, let me know what you guys think of this figure in my comments section below. And as usual, if you're new here and you like my videos, you like the content I'm creating, don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell notification button so you don't miss out on new videos like this. Thank you guys for watching, for spending your time here on this channel. I will see you guys again very soon. Goodbye.